strategies or tourism strategies, or do come and sit down, please. You will see our visitors described like that. Now, does that all look fairly? You feel fairly comfortable with that? How many people we got here are from, say, B&Bs and accommodation providers? Fantastic. Attractions. Fantastic. Okay, so your short breakers, your 45 to 65 is our typical demographic, isn't it? Walking, cycling, sightseeing, golf, arts, festivals, all that stuff. Then we've got couples, apparently. This is the new growth industry for us. These are your mammals, these are your adventure types, looking for something a little bit different, a little bit special. But also maybe looking for a little bit more luxury. They don't have kids with them, they can spend a bit more money. They've got a little bit more time, they don't have to get out of bed early, so a lot of them lie in, and they're looking for a bit of a nightlife, and of course the more nightlife they have, the longer they stay in bed, etc, etc, etc. So they're a very different set. First set are getting up early in the morning, and they're on the hills before 8 o'clock. And then we've got the fun on a budget. You know, we've got your glampers, we've got your campers, we've got your self-caterers, we've got people who are turning up for the day to go to festivals, and that's just the staying audiences, okay? All right, so that's how they get described in policies and things. But this is how they really are, isn't it? They're long stay. No, they're short stay. They're couples, families, groups. They're eco-friendly, eco-neutral, vegetarian, vegan, meat-loving, lactose intolerant, wheat-free, gluten-free, can do, won't do, won't ever do. Dog-friendly, dog-averse, hypoallergenic, highly selective, quick to judge. Indecisive, remaining, leaving, lost the will to living, country loving, shopping, mad, digitally native, Luddite, 24/7, late rising, Facebook friendly, screen averse. People. They're all people, and you all deal with these people in a one-to-one, every day. Every new person that comes is a new person they have. New needs, new desires. They want to know something. Now, but I know, because there are some things, because you work a lot of the time, and you get to answer a lot of questions, and you get to recommend a lot of places, don't you? So, I want you to think. Somebody comes up to you and they say, can you tell me somewhere that will be really good for my family to go to this afternoon? And immediately you've got somewhere in mind, haven't you? You're thinking Acton Scott, you're thinking Discovery Centre, you're thinking Race Farm, you're thinking places like that, aren't you? There we are, depending on the age of the kids and all that sort of thing. On a rainy day, now I know this is one that Francesca brings up regularly. What are we going to do about promoting rainy day activities and events? So where do we promote on a rainy day? Where do we promote that has a really good story? Hands up if you know a place that's got a really, really good story. We've got one, we've got two, we've got three. Okay, I was thinking Hopton Castle was the first place that jumped into my mind. Incredible story, a bit of a nasty story, but still it's an incredible story. Stokesay Court, that's an excellent story. Stokesay Castle, fantastic story. Lots of lovely stories all over the Shropshire Hills. The Stiperstone's covered in stories, aren't they? So really good stories, and that's maybe the sort of thing you might slip into conversation rather than as a recommendation, obviously. Places that are famous, I mean, I mentioned Stokesay Court. They filmed Atonement there. Keira Knightley has graced the presence of Stokesay Court. But where else have we got that's really, really famous? Obviously, we've got Ironbridge, but where have we got in the Shropshire Hills that's famous, that people will have heard of? Well, there's Ludlow, obviously, so you start to think about that. Locally, I mean, B&B accommodation providers, do you provide an evening meal? Some of you do, some of you don't, okay? But you've got to know where it's good to eat then, haven't you? Because you want your guests to have a good time. You want them to go out, and you want them on Twitter, on Facebook, saying, we've had a really lovely time here, and you want that review on TripAdvisor saying, we had a really lovely time, the people we stayed with were lovely, they recommended this place, had a TripAdvisor ranking that was 5 stars, and it was fantastic, and that's what recommendation is all about, isn't it, really? Somewhere that sells really good ice cream. I don't know if you guys know Swansea. Do you know Swansea? Anybody Swansea? Okay, so in Swansea it's Joe's Ice Cream. If you ever go to Swansea, just ask anybody, can you tell me where to get to Joe's Ice Cream? There are 2 places in Swansea where you get them from the actual Joe's Ice Cream place. There's plenty of newsagents and places like that selling little tubs of Joe's Ice Cream, but trust me, it is not the same thing. You go into the cafe and you get a Joe's ice cream. It is vanilla ice cream. You can have it with chocolate and nuts on it if you want, but it is vanilla ice cream. And it is the best ice cream you will have anywhere in the world. There you go, personal recommendation in Swansea. And I have travelled the world tasting ice cream and nothing compares to Joe's. So there you go, places that are dog friendly. I recently managed to get myself a dog. And now suddenly it steers your life, doesn't it? You know, suddenly it's like having small kids again. Where can I take the dog? Can I take the dog in there? Can I not take the dog in there? Do I have to sit in the car park? Does the dog go in the car? No, the dog can't go in the car. You know, and you have all those conversations. Recently, a conversation in Acton Scott was about this very thing. What can we do to make Acton Scott more dog friendly? Now we've got farm animals and all that going on, so the heart of the farm is probably not the place we can do it, but there's all this countryside around it that is all part of the attraction, but can be dog friendly. So it's about giving people the right information. Easy access, always been an issue, hasn't it? I mean, like so we've got buried ditches, which has got fairly accessible trails. We've got the Sniper Stones, which has got an easy access trail. We've got the Discovery Centre, which has got accessible trails, and that's just for wheelchairs and buggies. You know, you've got that lovely walk in the Plymouth estate at Ludlow. You've got the walk along the Bread Walk. There are places, and you start to think, well, what sort of thing can you deal with? Obviously, maybe a hike up Dr. Mott's Road in Cardinal Valley is going to be too challenging, but how about taking the shuttle bus and having a walk when you get on the top? So you start to think, I might be going on a little bit too much about this, you've got the point. And the last one, you know, what do we know that's open? Wednesday afternoon, Bishop's Castle? Not often open, is it? Or it can be out of season. But also people have these very, very I need it now needs, don't they? I need cash. Where's the nearest cash machine? Church Stretton, this is a perennial problem, isn't it, Bob? Where's Bob?
We've got two.
We've got two now, yeah, because there's one down at the garage now. So yeah, that's good. Free Wi-Fi. Places that have got free Wi-Fi. Now we have a rubbish Wi-Fi signal, rubbish 3G signal, don't we? Generally accepted that it's not great. And there are a lot of places that are the same. But we don't have a good one. And in some ways, that could be seen as a benefit for people who want to get away from the screens and get their kids away from the screens. But people want Wi-Fi to book places, to book tickets, to find out how to get to places, to answer questions that they're not sure whether or not you'll answer, or maybe they're too embarrassed to ask. Some questions like, can you tell me where the nearest all-night chemist is? You know, have you ever run out of nappies? That's a pain when that happens. Or all sorts of other things you might need in an all-night chemist. Can you tell me where I can catch the bus or the train? So we had a German visitor who called me up and said, I want you, at the time we were running two shuttles, one from Ludlow and one from Church Stretton. And they said, can I catch the train to Ludlow, catch the bus to Bishop's Castle, walk back to the Bog Centre, get on the bus at the Bog Centre and get back to Church Stretton where I'm staying? And so I had to work it all out for her. And there was one day, Saturday morning, if she caught the train at 7:30 in the morning, it was possible to do it. But you know, that takes a lot of working out. So, simple everyday things, where to park. Probably more often than not, where to walk. Do you all know about Great Outdoors, Shropshire's Great Outdoors website? It's got all the walks digitised on it. It's worth knowing about. Google Shropshire's Great Outdoors. You can download all of the walks, you can print them yourself for your own accommodation and B&Bs. Nearest cinema, where's the nearest McDonald's? You know, some kids just will not eat locally sourced, beautiful lamb. You know, they want dinner just maybe for one day as a treat on their holiday. They want to go to McDonald's. So where's the nearest McDonald's? And obviously where the best restaurants are. Okay, so really the purpose of this talk today was to talk to you about this Heritage Ambassador Scheme. So back in 2014, Tim King, who's here today, led a contract to a couple of local tourism consultants, Alison Caffin, who you may know, used to be tourism officer for Shropshire, Ludlow, for South Shropshire, and Stuart Graham, who is from the National Trust originally, to write this Tourism Ambassador Scheme. It's a fantastic scheme because it looks at not just Shropshire, but it looks at the wider area as well and starts to think about ambassadors as people who may send, you may send people to Ironbridge, you may send people to Staffordshire, you may send people to the potteries off of Worcestershire or Hereford Cathedral and see the Mapper Monday, that sort of thing. So they were thinking really big scale because this was something that was funded by the Arts Council and it was a multi-partnership thing. So we looked at it and we thought, yeah, that's really good. But it's not very Shropshire Hills. And as we are the Shropshire Hills destination, what we thought is that we want to do something that's more branded to us. So it's more about the Shropshire Hills and recommendations in the Shropshire Hills and people working together as a network to share all of the best information, but also to be recognised as the places to go for information. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. The days of the Tourist Information Centre are declining. You know, an awful lot of tourist information centres are struggling. They are run by volunteers, and so there's not always that ability to keep people up to date with what's going on. Everybody's trying really hard, and that's recognised, but the reality is that we may have a gap, and the gap is that people are just not particularly good anymore at recommending. And, you know, in that sort of front of house, you know, you've got people basically who know what they know. Now what we'd like to do is we'd like to take a family of people together and share all of it. So we have tourism experts at really key places, and every single person who meets visitors can be part of that. This is what we're thinking. Okay? So our new branding statement, which Louise is going to launch for us later, is all about this. Sorry if I've stolen a little bit of your thunder.
No, it's
just
all
a
good.
little bit of your thunder. But I had to be branded, didn't I? I had to be branded.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So here, I mean, here are some of the places that we promote.
How do I get to
It's
McDonald's?
just not going away. Fortunately, that's my boss. Maybe you didn't realise I was here. I don't know. So anyway, I'll move on. So we want to launch an ambassador scheme. Now this is a new idea, all right? It's not something that I'm saying this is fully formed. Join this, because we are still working on it. But ideally, we'd like to get people on board early to talk about how they'd like to be involved. It might be that the model that we're thinking about doesn't suit you as individuals, as businesses, and where and how you work. So we need to come up with a scheme that sort of recognises people's input, but in a way that's comfortable for them. Because what we want to talk about, you know, this, I did actually have a copy of it, but you'll take my word for it. The Heritage Toolkit just focuses on the heritage, which is fantastic, but it misses all the rest of the story, and the rest of the story is what our brand is all about. So I'm sure Louise will say later that it's all about these things in these colours, with our fabulous food, our wonderful outdoor activities, our family attractions, our festivals and events. I'll put real ale on there, but an awful lot about the real ale as well. Because we've got this unforgettable, unique, unspoiled, tempting, secret, adventurous, inspiring, fun, and wild place. It's all of these things. So why can't we be ambassadors for the whole shebang? That's what we're saying, okay? So this is as far as we've got with it. What we're thinking is that we want to take the toolkit to another level. We want it to be available and open to anybody to join, businesses, attractions, TIC staff, volunteers, that we'll come up with an accreditation, so individuals will be accredited ambassadors, or their business or attraction will be an accredited ambassador, and that will be promoted through the Shropshire Hills, Visit Shropshire Hills website. So if you've got a listing on Visit Shropshire Hills, it will say you are a Shropshire Hills ambassador, and you know, it could be something as simple as the new badge with the word ambassador over the top, but we could take that a little bit further, and I'll talk to Louise about that. But essentially, and here's the most important thing, is that you are ambassadors also to the brand, that you are promoting the brand, the Shropshire Hills, and that you're very much part of that. So, last slide, I think. Could this be you? Could this be you? Is this something that may be interesting? Is this something that you would like to get involved with? We're thinking that there would be a pre-season warm-up session. It might be part of the Expo next year. we might do it as a pre or post Expo thing. So if you're here anyway, it's a good use of everybody's time. We might ask you to do independent visits to attractions, and we'll sort all the ticketing out, so you don't have to pay anything, you just have to give your time. But you visited places. I mean, when was the last time any of you visited Ludlow Castle, for example? Sonia's not in the room, so I know she. But 3 weeks ago, okay.
I showed legal service.
So, but the rest of us, not recently. So we don't know what's gone on. Stokesay Castle recently had a load of improvements. Anybody been to the new cafe yet? Fantastic. Did you like it? It's part of the cream tea trail. We'll talk about that later.
I said, but as you from Shropshire Hill, this is me, by the way, and this is my car.
Fantastic. Thank you.
The car is Shropshire.
Marvellous, marvellous. And we would like to do more organised events to some of these attractions as well. Get behind the scenes, talk to the organisers, the owners, the managers about what they're doing. We'd like to do some sort of workshop, maybe a couple of workshops to talk about visitor welcome and those sorts of things. And we'd like you guys to participate in the promotion of the scheme. So if you're on Facebook, if you're on Twitter, not only are you promoting yourself as an ambassador, but you're promoting the scheme to other businesses. So that is the idea, all right? As I said at the start, at the moment, it's an idea. What I'd like is some feedback from you guys in the room and other people I want to be talking to about whether or not it's something that you would want to get on board with. I think it would be really good. It's part of our, it's actually written into our tourism strategy that we explore this idea based on other people, what other people have done elsewhere. And we want to make it distinctly ours. And that's it. So if you'd like to get involved, I have a pad, I have a pen, I can write your email addresses down, I can form a group on some form of communication device, and I can get in touch with you and we can start talking about it. Maybe we'll get together and talk about it. Maybe I'll share information and you can comment on it, whichever way works for you. But that's what I'd like to do. I'd also like to say, just to make it clear, this is something that we're doing. Although I work for the Shropshire Hills Area of Outstanding Natural Beauty, I work very closely with Visit Shropshire Hills Tourism, and this is something that we're doing together. Okay? Anybody got any questions? There was silence. Oh, we do have a question.
It's a really good idea. I mean, I'm at our books in London Brian, and we get a lot of visitors, and people do ask us exactly those questions. We need to promote that we are dog friendly, for example, but I don't know how. And we recommend people places to eat and places to go in the summer, particularly a lot. So yes, I'd like to know. I think it's a very smart idea.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Can I write your details down at the end of this? Yeah. Thank you. I'll do that. Yeah.
No, like I mentioned before, that's actually my card, and at the back of my card, I've got a Visit Shropshire Hill Discovery Centre. And we're very close to the Discovery Centre, about 400 yards away. And it was Pete Panther at the time, about a year ago.
Yeah.
And we worked quite closely with Pete, and we have a lot of school visits. The mosque has a lot of school visits, and we promote the Discovery Centre. When I go to primary schools to talk about Islam, or voluntarily, we promote the Discovery Centre because it's actually better for them as well. So it costs a lot of money for the logistics, transportation, and so on to bring schools to the mosque.
Yeah.
It could cost anywhere between £600. We charge nothing, but the coaches charge a lot of money. But it's only worth it for them if they visit Upton Spot, Church Street, and Longmead, Cardigan Valley, Ludlow Castle, and Discovery Centre.
Coach tours is definitely something that we'd like.
Yeah, so we actually encourage that. And otherwise they can't afford to come. The coach transportation charges a lot of money.
If I'm right, you're the only mosque in the Shropshire Hills.
Correct. We're the only mosque within a 40-mile radius.
40-mile radius. Yeah.
Karen Thorne's watching from home. She's sorry she can't be here, and she would like to put her name down, please.
Fantastic. Nice one, Karen. Thank you. Excellent. Live stream. Look at that. Love that. Anybody else? Any other questions? Any other comments? I mean,
It's a
you can
great
hang on the
idea.
brain if you want to. If you've got an issue, then I'm very happy to talk about it now.
I love the idea, but we're not actually in the Shropshire Hills. We're in Shropshire, but not Shropshire Hills, because we're not Shrewsbury. I'm presuming we wouldn't actually be winning this.
Well, there's not there's not a huge amount of coordination going on county-wide at the moment. However, any coordination that is happening, we are pushing ourselves to be part of. And there will be absolutely no issue at all with things that we're doing here and piloting here, rolling out to the wider county. And as the council comes back on board, and Leslie will be talking about this afternoon, comes back on board and starts pushing tourism again more, and I'm sure they will, then it may be that we can start looking at how this can get rolled out. This and other things we're doing could get rolled out.
If the various areas register an interest as well, that would be a start, because we're Rochester, so...
Of course you are, yeah. Yes, by all means, yeah. But we can, I mean, we could learn together. We could do this, you know, you could do a similar scheme and we could learn together. That'd be great. Yeah.
Would you want to sort of organise it in localities or have, zones where people might visit? I suppose I was just thinking about the distances involved and where people are staying.
I do need to keep in mind the distances, because I know that can be quite challenging. I mean, we tried, just choosing this place to have this event, to have an event like this, you know, really, it's the A49, isn't it? But also, we also need to think about that corridor in terms of what it means to the visitor, because an awful lot of our attractions are very close to the A49, and I know there are some that aren't, but one of the things that we need to think more about is how we signpost, is how we get people maybe to explore a little bit further. The Green Tea Trail that's being launched this morning is all about getting people to explore a little bit further. And so, no, you're right, we've got to respect the fact that people can't travel. I mean, if I can, and I will try, if I can get funding for this particular thing, that means that people who get involved can actually claim their expenses. You know, that's how I would try and work it out. But that might not be possible. The days of that kind of revenue funding is getting more and more difficult to get. So it depends on businesses and what they can commit to, and to what extent they can be part of it. Discover Telford had a Facebook group to share information. Unfortunately, they closed it because there wasn't enough people getting involved. But I mean, social media is one way that we can look at sharing information as well. But I think to be an accredited ambassador, then I think that will require a little bit of commitment for anybody who's thinking about it. So it's good to talk about that in advance. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for listening this morning. I hope that's been okay. If you want to get hold of me, I'm here all day. And if you want to give me your details, I will write them down on my piece of paper with my pen.